Hey guys. So I wanted to talk about um Asperger syndrome. I've self-diagnosed myself with this and years ago. I've done this years ago and I've considered myself an aspie as they call it, I think. For at least I think 3 years and it's a pretty I know it seems like a lot of people's like, "Oh, you can't self-diagnose yourself. You can consider yourself anything if you want to." But really it's one of those easy tests that even doctors I don't think I don't think doctors actually need to like go through this complete in-depth thing. I think if they do just go through observation. It's an observational test. And just I took the online test years ago and I got 33 out of 50 correct to tell me that I had Asperger's. I forgot if it was an autistic test or an Asperger's specific test, but yeah, it was clear that I had it. Um, Porn addiction is leads to a lot of the same symptoms, so it's hard to um figure out which one is which. Um, See, eye contact could be both. They both create eye contact issues. Um, Thinking logically is there's a lot of things that the reason I consider myself likely to have it is because of pre puberty era me. When I was a child, I still was odd. I didn't relate to people. I was still had to learn from patterns, learn from people's reactions to me. Why I just never got it. Like I never um I had to learn the hard way on almost everything that, certain things I say is wrong. Certain certain ways I reacted to things was wrong. And we're just wired different, right? Yeah, I wish I had the list. I could just go down and tell you exactly what I answered that makes me autistic. Um, or aspie. It's it's an outdated term. They don't consider it Asperger's a thing anymore. But to me, I'd rather it be a term because it's something that we can use as a label to differentiate us from all the other people that's just autistic, high functioning, or whatever. I don't know that I forgot the differences, but yeah, everything's on a spectrum. So some of us are more severe, but in reality, it's just I don't really think it's like I mean people treat it like is some deformity basically, but it's just our personality type. I believe. I believe it's just how well we. I don't know. I mean, there's certain times. It's hard to say because we are so different brain wise than I guess it's like type 1 and type 2 personality types. There's people that just they're emotional. That they need society. They relate to people emotionally. Even though I'm an empath and I'm an emotional person, I've hardened up over the years based on, just being completely like the social reject. Um I get to the point where it's like I've been unable to relate to people the way I want to relate to them for so long. I don't want to deal with people no more for the most part. I would love to have that connection with more people. I have my girlfriend, but I don't have many friends, so it's like I have my girlfriend and that's it. And I tell my girlfriend, she likes me to be around her family. I met her grandparents. I met her parents many times. Her family. It's hard for me to really be around them because it's like I don't feel comfortable, and I just can't talk. I don't feel I'm not my comfort zone. There's certain people I can talk to. That's people that have stuff in common with. It. nerdy stuff, geeky stuff. I can relate. I can't really talk to women very well. That's more of a porn addiction thing, I think. But um like I said, both of them have the same kind of uh, flaws in the system. Um, things that they say people with Asperger's tend to be good at math. I'm pretty sure that not all of them are, but I personally have always been. My brain slowed down over the years because of, like, I guess, high blood sugar and brain fog. I don't have the focus and the reflexes, the eye coordination, and all that to really be snappy. But like my brain is just kind of in a very chill state, so I'm not very quick. So my potential could be so much higher. Porn addiction is also another thing that makes it to where brain fog is a thing. Overstimulation, really. Overstimulation, period, is what really causes attention issues. So, but I know they say a lot of people with Asperger's, they tend to get misdiagnosed with ADD because we, I guess, are really only, we care about certain things. What we're interested in, we excel at. We get hyper fixated on those things. I used to be a human dictionary for like wrestling stats. I used to love, like, in the video games, I would see their stats. I would know like their heights, their weights, where they're from. I used to know everybody. I would be like a human dictionary. Um, Eminem, a rapper, pretty much has kind of. I don't know if he's been diagnosed, but he basically has mentioned that, and he's considered a human dictionary because of him studying the dictionary and making rhymes and stuff like that. And his personality does really scream Asperger's because he's very awkward. Elon Musk has Asperger's. And a few celebrities like Anthony Hopkins, the dude from Saturday Night Live, I can't think of his name, Dan Aykroyd. Um, Very odd personality. People that's kind of like a human computer that doesn't really. I feel like the best way to describe somebody with Asperger's, at least from my experience, um, in me, what I personally struggle with, like, uh, socially, the most, even when I'm comfortable, is humor. We lack, most of us, Dan Aykroyd, oddly enough, is a comedian, but we're kind of lack humor and, like, charm. I would say charm for sure, but I would say humor for the most part. And it's just like, we're just odd people. And we come off very off. Because it's like we missing some kind of component, like, that makes us, like, socially acceptable. So we're just like, we're here. But yeah, there's a lot of people that's like drawn to me, or girls that's been attracted to me in the past. Of course, my girlfriend. Just certain things. It's like it makes us to where it's like we're normal to certain people. Like we're accepted by certain people, but for like the normal people, like the mass majority, we're like treated as like weirdos or outcasts and stuff like that. I mean, I guess it depends on how much of the spectrum you're on. There's some people that's worse than me, of course, but it's very fascinating. Ever since I've really discovered, or like came into the idea that I may have autism, um, it's really been like something that's like I've been studying and studying, because it's like it's interesting, and I love like personalities and like psychology. I watch a lot of interviews and stuff of people. I love watching patterns. I think patterns is something we're good at keeping up with. We're good at following patterns. So, um, at my job, it's very easy for me to. understand the rhythm of the part. Like there's a like a we have a certain order for us to put parts on the line. I work at a warehouse, and we put certain parts on. We have to put one part here, another part here, and we have like a method of them. You can't put this part behind this part. You can't put this part behind this part in front of this part, and but it's super easy for me to figure out because I can like calculate it in my head very easily. And I'm like, okay, this part goes in, blah, blah, blah. It's easy. And then I'm like, the guy that's supposed to be the team lead is, he's always like he's supposed to like mark the part. So like he'll put the part on an empty hanger. And I'm like, you don't need to do that, dude. I already know what part comes next. It's super easy. And, he's slow. Like he isn't that smart. And I have an issue with like people that aren't that smart. I can get along with a lot of people as long as they're just like cool and chill, but I hate it when people have an ego. It's like just do your thing and stop having an ego because like I can't stand people at work with an ego because they think they're the hot shit, and I'm like I see right through them. And I'm also like basically a human lie detector, and I'm like I see people's flaws, and I can see that like through people. It's like I see them as they really are instead of who they try to be. Because I'm like a psychiatrist too in a way. Like I have that brain. Like I said, I'm into psychology, so I like I could just see like all the like all their like defense mechanisms basically, and why they act the way they are. It's like I see like through them and like everything they're doing. I know why they're doing it, and it's just like and it's like people with an ego. It's like it's basically a defense mechanism. It's like they want to feel good about themselves because they're supposedly good at this, but then they'll treat me like and that's the problem with me making videos. There's a lot of people with Asperger's that make videos, but it's like I have so many thoughts running through my head. I have like 8 different things I want to talk about at once. And so I'm jumping back and forth. And I can't, that's why I make long ass videos, is because it's like, I can't, even if I have one subject in mind, I will come up with 8 subjects while I'm talking, and then I'll bounce back and forth. And then I want to be super in depth with each subject. And then it's so complicated. And I try to understand, everybody hasn't, there's so many people with egos. Like, I treat everybody like they're equal. I don't believe that anybody is better than anyone. I believe there's some people that deserve, there's people that's skilled, and, there's people that's deserving of certain things based on their skills, but they're not like people that I'll be like, I'm beneath, I don't believe in the nobles and the peasants. I don't believe in treating people like they're beneath me or I'm above them. Online I'll talk shit all day long to people because it's like people are spewing so many dumb opinions online day in day out, and I'll talk shit about them online. I even told somebody I'm working with, when he told me his favorite game, he was like, you're gonna judge me, and he said his favorite game I think it was Fortnite. And I was like, oh, well, okay. You're a competitive gamer. That's fine. But I got to admit, if you're some stranger online, I would talk shit about you. I told him straight up that. But, I don't take it seriously. A lot of people think people take online bashing seriously. It ain't even trolling. It's just me venting away at people because they're frustrating. But I don't really take it seriously. I'm just talking shit. I'm just talking shit online. So if you see me online talking shit, it's just me venting. Venting off steam. From people. I mean, it annoys me that people are like dumb and say stuff like, it's like, snowflakes and SJWs. They ruin things by saying, oh, this thing is offending me for this reason. And then you got the anti-woke, which are just as bad, saying this thing is woke even though it's not. It's just because there's a gay person in it, so we gotta completely rebel against it. And you got, and everybody's like a hypocrite, or you know, I get so frustrated with people. It's just like I said, I see through these things so easily. And I try to be, give people the benefit of the doubt. I try to be a little patient because I'm like, okay, people may not be as smart as me. It's just like, it's when people are so sure of themselves and they will not listen to reason. That's when I have an issue. That's when you become an idiot mark. Or I guess that's more of a wrestling term, but you'll be like basically an idiot mark. I think marks also used in like, I guess, geek culture or video game. You're a mark for something. Yeah. That's basically a general term, I guess. But still, you're. There's so many people that's just like, they're stuck. And they they'll have a certain mentality. And then I see things in a very logical way. Like, okay, granted, I would never date a 16-year-old girl, right? Never, it's just too young for me. But the thing is, it's only here in America where it's illegal. And even in America, it's not really illegal in every state. I believe Alabama's illegal, but in Tennessee it's not. Anyway, either way, like I said, I wouldn't date somebody that young. It's just because they're just too young, maturity wise, and for the most part, it's just not something I would can. That just we're two different people, and but the thing is, people act like, oh my god, I seen a post. It was like, it was basically a post that said that the girl was 16 at one point when they was dating, and everybody was like losing their shit, and I'm like, is me in my logical brain is like, I'm not thinking emotionally. I'm not thinking as a parent or anything like that. I'm not a parent, but and even then it's like, okay, people at 16, and then I think about me at 16. It's like, me at 16, it wasn't really any different than me now. It's just I didn't have any responsibilities. I didn't have the life experience I have. I don't have the work experience. I didn't even have a license or anything like that. That's the only difference. My brain was basically the same. I mean, I was goofy, but I was goofy because, I had a lot more time on my hands. I had a lot less things weighing me down. And I was less beaten up by society emotionally. So I was like, I was more, gullible and stuff. That's life experiences. I wasn't underdeveloped, as a lot of people say. And then, so I do that. I will think from different points of view of why something's good or bad, yada, yada, yada. Like I said, I'm a logical thinker, and that's what people with Asperger's tend to do, is we think logically. And I will, it annoys me. It's like everybody acts like it's such a big deal. My great grandmother was 16 when she married my great grandfather, who was 30. That was a bigger gap than the post that people are going crazy about. And I'm just like, oh my God, face palm city. And it's just like, I try not to say anything because it's like, it is kind of a very taboo subject. So I'll try to keep off that kind of stuff. Like I said, I'm not really supportive of it, but it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, if people do it, just they're gonna have to learn. Whether they're 16 or they're 22 or they're 30, they're still gonna be dumb as hell. Nobody gets smarter. They're just fucking dumb, but with a job, or dumb with a car, dumb with responsibilities. That they're not just, they're not underdeveloped. Some country, I think China's 13, which is way too young for sure. But like I said, I wouldn't support it. It's just like one of those things where it's like, you might want to judge them. It's like girls. There was some video with a girl with a beard dating a trans person. It's like I'm against trans stuff anyway, but like you do you if you want to. I'm not saying you can't do. If you want to dress like a boy, dress like a girl, that's fine. Just don't tell me to call you a dude if you're a girl, and vice versa if you're like the other gender. You're not that to me. I don't believe in gender swapping. Like that's not a thing to me. You are what you are. If you want to be feminine, be feminine. If you want to be manly, you could be manly. Whatever you want to do. Just don't expect everybody to fucking have the same ideology as you. You're not going to force it. You're not a dude just because you dress like one. It's simple as that. You can cut off your titties all you want, like Ellen Page, and that doesn't change anything. It's very unfortunate for her. She was a very hot girl. She had to ruin it. Not that it matters, I'm just some guy watching on the internet, but it's like, it's still disappointing, man. We're just losing one of our own, one of our hotties in the world. She wasn't that hot, but still, But yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of things I don't agree with. It don't make any sense at all. People are just want to be in. I think these groups, they just want to be accepted in certain groups, or they want to rebel. It's all these social being needy socially, and it's like, me, I don't care. I can be alone. I mean, I need a relationship. That's about it. I need that connection. That's about the only thing, because I'm glad that's the one thing that I need socially is I actually would like to have more social. I would like to have friends and all that. It's just I'm got to the point where it's like it's so much work. It's like finding somebody that is going to be your ride and die. That's more of a relationship thing, but you know what I mean. Just being there for you for the rest of your life. It's like you're not. Most people are just going to come and go in your life, and it's like I'm not looking for that. I want somebody that's just going to be there for me. I'm not going to lose. Maybe if they die, but that's that doesn't count. I'm talking about somebody that doesn't. It's just going to be there for you and just wants to be around you and hang out with you. And, it's hard for, it would be hard for me to make friends, even if I had somebody willing. But it's like people are just going to come in your life and go, and it's like it's much harder. And there's people that are social that are having issues finding friends. That's the crazy part. And then you got people like me who can't really make small talk. I can't do. It's hard for me to connect with people because it's like I'm odd. I'm not funny. I'm not that enjoyable to be around anymore. Especially, I'm kind of closed off. Because like I said, I've had these issues for so long. But yeah, I just like to come home and do my thing, watch my TV, watch me some Walking Dead, play me some Kingdom Come Deliverance, and which is what I'm doing now. Eat my tacos. About to eat me some of these delicious things that were 2 for $3. Try out these Save-A-Lot brand Funyuns to see if they're any better, or at least almost as good as Funyuns. If they're like Onion Nose, get the fuck out of here. Those are the worst chips known to man. I really don't know what the worst chips are. I would say salt and vinegar, I guess. I hate Ruffles, man. Like, even just the plain Ruffles, just so boring of a chip. I used to hate corn chips, but they're alright. They hit the spot in a way. They're one of those chips I would never get. I don't like barbecue chips that much either, but they're alright. Once you start eating them, it's like, they're alright. But it's not something I would get. But anyways, like I said, I have a lot of thoughts, and my attention is zero, basically. But yeah, I got a lot of things to figure out. Asperger's was, and I would like to meet more people like me. I'm always looking out, trying to figure out who has, Asperger's in the wild. Trying to figure out, or celebrity wise. It's like I've been trying to figure out which celebrities have it, or and it's like, it was kind of cool, like Elon Musk, and it's like, and then I start going on his Wikipedia and discovering all kinds of things about him, trying to see what I relate to him with, and he has 14 children. He has 14 children. His daughter, or his son that became trans or whatever, hates him because he's like, he considers him like a narcissist, I guess. I think that's the term that he used. One of the things, I'm not close to my dad, and he's always been very like, you have to contact him if you want to talk to him. So I ended up, get to that point where it's like, I'm the type of person that I'm not going to talk to you if you don't want to talk to me. I'm just like that, and that was one of my earliest. Like, I can burn bridges very easily, and I wonder if my dad has any of these issues. After looking the way I am, but that's the thing about me is like, if you do not want, if I have to try for you to be my friend, that's what really started it. Is when I realized how much effort it was to either try to like hang out with former friends or like childhood friends. Like, I had 3 best friends growing up, and it became increasingly harder to get them to hang out with me. And of course, they live like hours away at this point. I would say maybe just an hour or two at the most at the time, away from me. So it was difficult, but it got to the point where, I was like realizing years have gone by since we've seen each other. And it was always me trying to figure out when, whenever they had time for me to come over there and hang out with them. And I'm like thinking to myself, wait a second. When have they tried to come see me? When have they tried to hang out with me? Why is it always in their schedule? Why is it always when they have time? Why is me? I'm never busy. I'm like never too busy for people. I was like, I'm always willing. Like, you want to hang out? We'll schedule time. Now, maybe if I had them always want to hang out, I would probably be a little more off-putting, you know. But I don't have that issue. It's like more of like me just trying to connect with people. I'm like dying to connect with people, and it got to the point where it was like, after a while, I was just like, I'm done. I stopped trying, and I pretty much, after, there was some point where my best friend growing up, after I realized that every time when he started hanging out with his other friends, I seen him online, he would drive an hour to see them, and I'm like, I'm done. And after that, I disowned him as a friend. I mean, I have him on Facebook to this day, and he's tried to connect with me, but after that point, after that realization, it's like, I'm done. I'm not trying with you anymore. You are not my friend anymore. And I don't consider him a friend anymore. I don't consider my other friend that I was just talking about, that was a different friend. After my mom died, I didn't try to reach out and say, hey, my mom died. I didn't really tell anybody. It's just like I got to the point where I'm just like, you're going to have to try with me. Like, unless you are like, you want to hang out with me. And I did have somebody that I used to work with, that we became friends, and he would come over and hang out with me. But I would remember, he's just doing it because it's convenient. He's bored at home. He has nothing to do. He comes over. It's convenient. It's fun for him. As soon as he moved, we lost touch. We don't really hang out anymore. And it's just like, the whole time that we was becoming friends, I just kept saying to myself, it's going to be nice while it lasts. And that's what sucks. Is like I get so annoyed because it's so hard for me to make friends with this, with my social anxiety, my social issues, my social awkwardness, whatever you want to call it. It is nearly impossible to make friends, and it's like, and like I said, the crazy thing is, I know social people that have just as much of a problem because people are so content with being by themselves, and they just want what's convenient for them. They want something that it's either fun or takes their mind off something, but it's never really truly because they just care about you. It's like it's what's fun for them, and that's why I don't want people anymore. I don't take anybody seriously. Like, who is out there searching for a friend? Like, why is that not a thing? Like, why does nobody really like seem like they want to be friends? And, it ain't just like I said. It ain't just necessarily me. It's like they're not trying to be friends with nobody. They're just living their life in this like selfish way where it's like being friends is like not a requirement for a lot of people. It's like they're antisocial while being social. It's a weird middle ground that a lot of people are. Because I'm not really friends with like social people. I would say that one of them was, but and I had a falling out with my other friend because he never paid rent. When I was trying to get him to get his life together, I was trying to get his license, I'm trying to get him a job, and I got him his permit, his license. I got him a job. He lost his job because he didn't contact him when he had COVID, and they pretty much assumed he's just quitting or whatever. He got another job, and eventually it just got to the point where I couldn't support him anymore, and I took him, and he got me to take him back to the house that he was renting, that I used to rent, and he took over the lease, and he lost that. I let him take over the payments on my car because it was either that or get repoed early. So that was okay, but then he eventually lost his job again, and then I got repoed anyway. And it made me feel like I was forcing him to be homeless, and I think he resents me for it to this day. We haven't really talked in a few years since I moved to Tennessee, and I do regret some of the ways that I went about it, but it's like, dude, I was trying with you for so long to get your life together. I was just trying to be nice because I wanted you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet because your parents really didn't help you and you didn't help yourself, which laziness is one thing, but I personally relate to it. So it is what it is. It's hard for me to be self motivated. So I don't, I was trying to give him a little push because that's all I personally wanted was somebody to push me, to help me. I've always been seeking that. That's all I ever truly wanted. But I never really had that. So I had to become self dependent, self pushing, because I didn't have anybody doing that. I felt like my whole life has been nothing but me having to fend for myself because nobody, wants to do it, help me. Every now and then I might get somebody to be like, or like my brother at one point when I was, about 20 years old, and he was like, he had a little bit more going on for him. He was a social guy too, and he was going to help me, get my GED or whatever, because he had a car and all that. But I never let anything. He would lose interest, or maybe life would get in the way. And it would always be like that, It would always be like nobody would want to stick around. It would just like it's like when it's easy for them, and it's like nobody really truly cares about you. It's like a lot of women that you meet online. They're so wishy washy, where they'll be like, they might like you, they might, while you, while it's convenient for them. So yeah, don't care about people for the most part. You know, I'll vent on Facebook a lot. I'll be having these book long posts, and really it's about just me kind of using them as a journal, putting them into word form. But it's always nice if somebody relates to them. They don't have to read them or read or react to them, but it's always like I'm kind of deep down searching for somebody that truly relates to something I'm saying, And it's always a good feeling whenever I do get somebody that relates to me, but it's like for the most part, I just don't, and it gets so exhausting. It gets so exhausting because it's like time and time again, I'm just not finding people like me in any way, and it's like it feels lonely. It feels like you're an alien, like Eminem said. Um, why I feel so alien, or whatever. Man, but all right, that's all I'm gonna say for now. Peace out, guys. I'm gonna eat these cinnamon rolls or pecan spins because I've been thinking about them as I'm talking because that's one of the many other thoughts in my head. Later, guys.